Burgh House. This is a very... Can we go into the garden? We can go inside a bit. This is Burgh House, and sometimes we couldn't be at the Friends Meeting House, and so Mother actually came here and gave a couple of programmes. It's a beautiful house. It was a big grand piano. It was very elegant, and I think Patricia used to play Jerusalem on it. We always finished our meetings by singing Jerusalem, which was great. And this is the house. It's lovely. It's very nice. So the Friends Meeting House isn't far, it's up the hill. Want to walk to the meeting house?
Yeah. Can we walk? We have to come back out again, don't we?
I'll just click and photo this.
Okay. Various people had meetings in it. It was a sort of meeting house. They'd have elegant programmes, I think that's what they did. And it was certainly a very elegant panelled room with this grand piano. Perfect setting for Mother. Up. It's lovely. In fact, I drove round there with Mother once. Oh, I said, oh, I went swimming there, I went to school then, I went to school then. I thought, oh, poor Mother must be bored still listening to all this.
Did she say anything when you were showing her around?
Well, I showed her where I used to go swimming every day, and she said that wasn't good to go swimming every day. That was all she said. So it's wonderful to be standing here because this is where the first regular Sahaja Yoga meeting in the West took place. And Mother came here often. You get a message to say, oh, Mother's coming. And so we'd ring round everywhere and everybody came. And so many people have got their realisation here. And it's also still helping everyone. If I'm in troubles, I come up here, I go to the meeting, and I'm all right. But we've still got the same things, same photograph, the same things, and just feel okay again. It's an amazing place. And this is a wonderful place, this meeting house.
We do use their halls quite a lot across the country.
Okay, really.
When we started the meeting, we had two rules. One, we were going to speak to everyone and smile at them, and we were going to give them a cup of tea, and it worked. In a few, I think we had 9 people at the first meeting, and in about 3 weeks we had to have the big room because so many people came. Lovely. Yes. And actually, we found that's the best way to do the meeting, you know, really. You've got to talk to people and welcome them and show a bit of interest in them, haven't you? Because when I came, nobody ever spoke to you, you know. Only Rita. Did you remember Rita, Big Rita? She used to come and talk, but nobody else. They all used to look the other way.
But, I'm sure she's, last we spoke she was going to get her, I don't know what qualification it was, diploma or
Oh yeah.
her counselling qualification. Yes.
Good, isn't it?
It's brilliant, brilliant.
She was a dear little girl and she's grown up into a dear lady.
She is, absolutely.
She's a sweetheart.
She came all the way down from York with golden memories.
Yeah, she did. She loved it.
It
Yeah.
was very nice of her, and
Yes.
beautiful stories too.
She
amazing.
spent a lot of time with Mother and she was just a girl. And this is the house where she was brought up. Yeah. I spent many happy hours in there.
Yeah, you can go past this one.
This fountain, this is well walked. This is when the plague was in London, terrible plague, and people came up here to live to get away from the plague, and they drank the water up here. It was okay. And one lady died, and it turned out she'd been getting water from Soho because she liked that particular water. But other people came up here to escape the plague, and it was this.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I don't like it. It reminds me.
Just walk around this.
Really, it's very beautiful how you led the day and.
Well, David told me, he said, oh, well, when you bring them to Hampstead, take them up there and go round that way. And what about that? So he poked his nose in, although he said, one thing she taught us, of course, which we never did in the West.
Yes.
And if you look in her box, she always has lots of creams for her face. She looks after her hands. She always creamed her hands. She sometimes used to go to bed with her gloves on, cream. So Mother looks after herself. It's not like people think, oh, you know, it's not the done thing, you shouldn't. But you should look on, if you're a lady especially, you should. My mother always looked lovely, clothes are lovely, and she told me off that day when I had that old necklace on, she's always giving us beautiful things so that we look nice.
What are the sort of creams that she was using?
Well,
Tell us, please.
at the moment when I was travelling with her, she used to use a powder from Revlon, I think it was called Tempting Touch. I just remember Mother having that. She used on her face. Yeah.
Wow. And the hair oil, what sort of hair oil did she?
I don't know what hair oil Mother used, but she used to recommend almond oil and coconut oil. But I don't know what Mother used herself. You have to ask the nurses that. I don't know.
Yes.
Yes, she thinks she always said, I look after myself. You should look after yourself, look nice. And, yes.
Yeah.
Because people notice us. You know,
Yes.
it's not so much you go around talking, but let people look at what you're doing, and don't they? I know I learnt when I came from certain people who saw how they were with mother, and then you copy that. And it's the same with walking, life in this, as we are, people do notice.
Yes. I think it's...
She bought this cloak when we were in Bristol, I think it was. We were going to Bath, and she didn't have anything warm, and it did get cold. But when we arrived in Bath, which is a Roman city, she looked like a Roman lady.
Wow.
She got out of the car, she had a white sari with the red, and she had this red cloak. Oh, unforgettable, beautiful. Yes. Otherwise she only bought things for other people, endless shopping for others. And she made a very good point that she said if you give something to somebody, then that person can't be cross with you. We can't be cross with someone. You look at something, you might be feeling fed up with someone, and you look at something they've given you, you remember that, and all the anger goes, doesn't it?
That's beautiful. Yeah.
It's true, isn't it?
It is so true.
Yeah.
It's so simple.
So
and
she
so
was always encouraging us to give things to others. So, and she'd sometimes say to the men, oh, you should buy that for your wife. She'd see it. Yes. Was it Plymouth when she had the television?
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
David.
TV Southwest.
David organised
No
that.
way, I should have asked him when I was back at your place.
So there was a puja in Exeter,
yes.
and which Gresham organised, and David drove Mother to Plymouth. He'd organised it. Mother had a red sari on, and of course, with my television experience, said, well, I don't think red looks it's not very good on the camera. Fancy saying that. Anyway, when we got there, they were all waiting outside for Mother, and the person doing the interview said, oh, Mother, you're here. And she said, oh, I hope I'm all right in this red sari. You look gorgeous, Mother, you look gorgeous, he said. And she did look gorgeous. And when we got in the studio, she sat on, I think it was a black chair with a white background, and the red looked wonderful. But I can hear her now saying, oh, you look gorgeous, Mother, you look gorgeous. And then they all came into it was the middle of doing the news, and all the studio came down into the green room to meet Shri Mataji. And they all got their realisation. And it was a lovely interview, wasn't it? I don't know if you've seen it. And she told him what to ask her, some quite tough questions, and she told him to ask them. He was a very nice man. Very nice. Yeah, that was memorable.
And what year is that? That's early 80s?
Yeah, that's about 1984, is it?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's earlier than that. It's
Okay.
about 1982.
That's when I first started Plymouth Polytechnic. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1982 I think it was. Because David spent a year pestering them to put Mother on.
TV Southwest.
All of them.
Yeah.
He's a very obstinate man, and he's the most obstinate person I've ever met. He just kept on and on and on. And then in the end, the first ones were in the Midlands.